I totally understand that.
Because you can hear it. It's just disrespectful.
Yeah.
But you did answer my questions, and I wanted to dig a little more into this thing about you being this policewoman and suddenly this successful writer. I mean, you told me the story about
Yeah.
but did you have any training at that?
No. Just wrote. No training. I've never done a creative writing course or anything like that. And so I'm learning all the time, and I think all writers are learning all the time. I've got some great editors, and it's a process that just keeps going. But I think the blogging was really interesting because it was the first time I'd had an audience for anything I'd written. Right. And you can really gauge, you get great feedback because not only can you see how often, how many hits you've got in the post, you can measure how many shares it's got and how many people commented, and so that sort of feedback is you get the sort of quantifiable feedback as well as the quantitative feedback, and so that taught me lots of things about structuring columns and posts, and actually a lot of that applies to fiction as well. So if you're writing a blog post and a opinion piece, a column, you've still got to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. You've got to have a kind of, in a crime novel you could have a twist. In a column you'll have that sort of that punchline, you'll have the last line. So the structure actually is exactly the same. And so that was a great training ground. And then it was just a question of writing something longer and deeper and more complicated. Not while I was writing the first draft. So later I did when I got my agent, and then my UK editor.
You're really just a natural. You train a lot, but also.
Well, I think I've always loved language and words and been fascinated by language. I did English at school and French and German, and so that sort of analysis of words and where they come from. So I'm really careful about the words that I use, and every word is there for a specific reason. And I think that love of language is really helpful to a writer. I think you have to love language in order to work with 100,000 words. You need to like them.
Yeah. But you didn't think of becoming a journalist or an English teacher or something like that, something more wordy?
Well, I wanted to be a journalist when I was a teenager, and I was sort of persuaded not to by my school. I don't know why really, but they, for whatever reason, I was persuaded not to. So I just drifted. I did the subjects that I enjoyed, and then I joined the police, and I loved the police. It was a great job. I like doing journalism. I do some journalism now. I do some feature writing. But I think what I like best is, rather arrogantly, is having my own platform. It's saying what I want to say. So I like opinion pieces and columns and novels, where I can say what I want to say.
Instead of having other people say.
I mean, I will write. I've written articles about parenting, and I've done interviews with chefs and teachers and all sorts of people, and they're interesting. And I like those. I like the process of the sort of the human interest article. But actually, what really gives me a buzz is writing what I want to write.
I know the feeling. I am a journalist, and the blog for me is just a way to just say it instead of finding the right sources.
It's great, absolutely.
Yeah. But I also wanted to ask you about this sudden success, because it must have been quite overwhelming.
Yeah, it's been a funny sort of year, really. So I remember right at the beginning thinking in the UK that I would like to sell about 25,000 copies, which would be quite a big number for a debut in the UK to sell, and I just really I wanted to do that, and so when we tipped 500,000, it was just, it was too. I remember having a conversation with my husband where I wrote down 500,000, and I said, that is 500,000, isn't it? I haven't got the wrong number of noughts. And he said, yes, you've sold 500,000 courses. So it took a bit of time to see. It's been incredible. It's been lovely going to events and having letters from readers. I've just had the best time. And now all the foreign editions are coming out, and I'm getting to meet readers in different countries and see these beautiful covers. Look how gorgeous that is. And it's an absolute dream come true.
Do you have any say?
I mean, I've had some of the countries have sent through and said, what do you think? I don't know what would happen if I got a cover and thought, that's hideous. Maybe if Syria had sent this through and it had cupcakes and high heels, maybe I might have said something. But it's so perfectly what the story is, and it's such a beautiful cover, and it feels good, and I mean it's just lovely, absolutely lovely. So I'm really excited, and I have at home. I have on my windowsill. I've got all my foreign copies, and they all look so different, and I just love it. I get such a buzz out of it.
How many countries?
Well, we were just talking about this earlier. Definitely 27. I think 29, and I think maybe I don't know, about 29. Yeah.
Do you have any idea yourself how you become a success?
Well, obviously, I'd like to think it's partly because it's a good book. I think the thing about success is that it breeds success. So it's so much easier to be a success once you already are. And so there's sort of a tipping point. Once you've had a certain degree of success, you've been in some book clubs, in England for me it was the Richmond Reading Book Club that sort of tipped it over. I was a Sunday Times bestseller for 12 weeks. And so once that, then more people buy it, then more people do it for their book club read, and then suddenly you've got sometimes run some. So there's been a huge amount of luck in what's happened.
Det er jo farligt at stå i kø der til den der bog til 40 kroner.
I think it resonates with a lot of people. There are a lot of emotions in there that we can relate to. So we have